Welcome to the Avonmouth Polymers site induction. The site is currently decommissioning, however, our standards remain the same. This induction is required for all employees, visitors, contractors and agency staff. General site rules. Always sign in and out at the ERF reception. This is required for roll call. When leaving site, inform your host. Reverse parking is mandatory on site in the designated ERF car park. Ensure that all those completing work are fully inducted before starting. In the event of the fire alarm going off on your visit, leave the site at the nearest exit. Do not stop to collect belongings and walk to the assembly point in the ERF car park. Please do not use your phone in operational areas unless authorised to do so and in a safe location. Please be aware that weekly fire alarm tests are scheduled at 10 AM every Wednesday. This slide shows the exact location of the muster point in the ERF car park. In the event of evacuation, please muster here. Please listen out for your name to be called out so we can confirm you have been accounted for. PPE factory requirements. To enter the polymers recycling facility, safety helmet must be worn, eye protection must be worn, hearing protection must be worn depending on the activity taking place, protective gloves, high visibility clothing and safety boots. Additional PPE may be required for other tasks being undertaken. This slide shows the site layout. There are 5 distinct areas: extrusion, the wash plant, the MRF plant, the water treatment plant and goods in. This is to help orientate you to the site. Although the factory is currently decommissioning, hazards remain in the factory. These include forklift trucks, dust, waste material, combi trucks, noise, potential moving machinery from testing, slips, trips and falls, chemicals, manual handling, electricity, hygiene and fire. Accidents and incidents. Accidents, incidents, hazards, near misses and/or injuries must be reported before leaving site, even if you weren't directly involved. Inform your host or report to a member of Viridor staff to report or seek guidance. Any injuries not reported on the day prior to leaving the site may not be considered injuries on site. If in doubt, please ask. Always take 2 minutes. The Point of Work Risk Assessment, or POWRA, tool allows employees to stop, think and assess before completing tasks. This is used when you're doing an unusual task that you're unfamiliar with and allows you to assess the risk and mitigate it before undertaking it. The person should act to clear or reduce the hazards or risks identified. These POWRA sheets are available on EDMS system and can be printed off on request. Access and egress. Where possible, use pedestrian walkways. Speed limits vary on site depending on location and must be followed. Only trained and competent operators can operate machinery. A pre-use check sheet must be completed prior to operation of any plant machinery. And barriers and walkways must always be used to segregate people and plant. Control of contractors. All contractors must be inducted prior to commencing work. All work must be authorised via an authorisation to work and, depending on the work, with a permit by a permit issuer. All contractors must be approved and supply RAMs and competent operators. A full understanding of the scope of work is required. Contractors must be supervised and be briefed on the emergency plans, and Viridor staff must ensure regular supervision of work. Control of Viridor work, SOPRA. SOPRA stands for Safe Operating Procedure Risk Assessment. This is the documentation we use to control activities on the site and is normally used by Viridor employees. Unless undertaking supervised training, nobody is authorised to undertake a task unless they have been signed off on the relevant SOPRA. No sign off, no work. If you're unsure if you should be signed off on a SOPRA, please see your line manager. Permits are required for management of high-risk works. Permits can be issued to Viridor employees and contractors depending on the nature of the work. High-risk works include working at height, hot works, confined space works, electrical or mechanical isolations except identified self-isolations, excavations, and working on pressurized systems. Before any of these works commences, there should be a clear emergency arrangement discussion and contact agreed with working parties. We use LATOTO on this site to isolate equipment. LATOTO stands for Lockout, Tag Out, Try Out. The principles are lockout, isolate the energy source, tag out, put a tag on with details, try out, try to start up equipment to confirm the equipment is not live. Only those who have been issued with a personal lock and have signed on to a relevant permit can work on isolated equipment. Operational areas during decommissioning. This site is currently decommissioning. Operational areas are undergoing enabling work to support this. Please be aware of this when walking around the facility. If you see something that you are concerned about, please report this immediately so it can be investigated. All hazards previously stated at the beginning of this induction are still in place. Yard area access rules. Although the plant has stopped running, there is still heavy machinery working in this area. If entering this area, you must contact the yard on channel 1 and be acknowledged and authorised to enter. A proximity sensor must also be worn. Hygiene standards. The site's main raw material is rubbish. Due to this, there is a risk of leptospirosis, which is derived from rats. As such, good standards of personal hygiene are required. You should wash your hands before using the toilet and then again afterwards. Eating and drinking on the shop floor is prohibited except for plain water. This concludes the Decommissioning Induction Pack. If you have any further questions, please ask a member of the management team to assist you.